Hey everyone, welcome to episode 6 of What's Up Biscot Yarns with Julie. I am Julie, filming from our store in Northvale, New Jersey, and that's in northern Bergen County. Speaking of Bergen County, I want to say a special hello to the friend who is connected with us from Bergen County, and also the one who is a little bit further down south from Princeton, New Jersey. And even a little bit further yet, actually a lot further yet, the other direction up north from Quebec, Canada. And hello to everyone else who's connected with us wherever you are in the world. So glad that you have found us. If this is the first time that you're viewing, a very warm and special welcome to you. In this space, we talk about the good stuff that's offered at Biscot Yarns, both online at biscotyarns.com, as well as at our physical stores. Today, we're going to talk about several patterns and knitting kits that are special, that have special meaning. There are a bunch of patterns and knitting kits offered by Biscot Yarns where we donate a portion of the proceeds to charity, specifically the Douglas Foundation for Mental Health Research. Last year in 2002, we have donated over 6,000 Canadian dollars to the foundation, and that converts to over 4,500 US dollars. So think about it. Because of your patronage, you get to knit yourself to a much happier place, and at the same time, you will help someone find peace and serenity in their own happy place. It's totally a win-win all around. I'm going to put a link down below in the description box where you will get to the landing page of all the patterns and all the kits that will benefit the Douglas Foundation, as well as the website to the foundation itself so you could learn more about them. Before I talk about the first pattern, why don't you take a quick second to subscribe to our channel? And if you're enjoying the video so far, please give it a thumbs up. And at any time during the video, you have a question or you have a comment or you just want to say hey, you can do that in the comment box down below. First up, we have a sock pattern to talk about. It's called Ti Amo, designed by Sylvie Pepos, and here it is. This sock is constructed from the cuff down, and then you will work your way down the legs, which you see why it is called Ti Amo. That's my guess anyway, with the heart motifs both in the front and in the back of the leg. And then also at the side, some edging, like cabling on either side of the leg. And then you would work your way down the heel and then work your way down the foot. And then you would do your decreases for the toe. And if you can see, like the cabling on the side that I was showing you before, you see how like it comes together like in this V, and then it just works down to the toe. So really well thought out design aspect here to keep sock knitting very interesting. In this pattern, it's both charted and also written out, and there are a lot of charts that go with it because there are a lot of different parts that goes to constructing this design wise. And the yarn that was used to make this sock is from the Louise Robert Design Collection in the colorway Chardon, and this is Super Sock, which is made up of 3/4 of superwash merino and 1/4 of nylon. To knit this up, the pattern calls for 1.5 US or 2.5 millimeter needles. But of course, at the end of the day, it really depends on your gauge. So as long as you meet gauge, then use those sets of needles. And the gauge for this pattern is 8.5 stitches to an inch. Next up, we have yet another sock pattern. And this one is a shorty. It's called the Sporty Pom Pom Sock. Isn't this fun? It's perfect for the summer. It's perfect for tennis shoes or sneakers. It is so retro looking, but yet I think this band at the foot for the arch is a little bit more modern. I feel like nowadays everybody has feet issues. But anyway, this sock is knitted from the cuff down as well. And there are a lot of options for you in terms of knitting this sock, and this is what I mean. You could do the traditional, ribbing, 1x1, 2x2 ribbing, and there are stitch counts for you if you choose to do that. But the stitch count for this version, as you see here, is a little bit different. So this is the folded hem version. So let me see if I can turn it. Yeah. So you would knit a certain amount with a contrasting color, and then when you get to a certain point, you would fold that piece over to the inside, and then you would tag it. And then depending on how you cast it on, whether you use the traditional cast on or the provincial cast on, you would just do your thing to tag it, and then you would knit down like this whole bit of the leg, and then you would work the heel. And here's another option for you. You could do, as in this sample, the fish kiss heel or the traditional heel flap. I believe the pattern has the traditional heel flap instructions written in, but there are links to the fish kiss heel on the pattern if you choose to do it that way, instructions on how to use that kind of heel. And then you would do this part, and then when you get to this part, you would do the ribbing. Now, when do you do this part? When you get to the arch of your foot. How do you know when you get to the arch of the foot? Is it written out in the pattern? Like when you get to 2 inches from this point? No, because everybody's foot size is different. So in order for this to be effective, you have to try on your sock as you knit it. And once you get to the arch of your foot, then that's when you would start doing this ribbing business. So the ribbing would like kind of hug your foot here a little bit more to provide you a little bit more support. And once this is done, the ribbing, then you would go back to good old stockinette until you reach the toe part, and that's where you change color and do your toe decreases, and then bam, you're done. For this sock, you in this model in particular, the main color is knitted with the Biscot Yarns Bis sock in the color Nature, and the contrasting color, including the pom-pom, is knitted with the same yarn as before from the Louise Robert collection, and the colorway is as pretty as the song that it was named after, Music of the Night. I actually pulled out a different contrasting color to show you guys because I think it's more fun. I love this. This is so pretty, but it's summertime, and I think neon colors are trending. So I pulled this up. Like you can see it, right? The contrasting color with this crazy neon color. It would be like really fun. So here is the Biscot Yarns Bis sock. Now the composition of this yarn is different than the super sock. So for this one, it's 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon. And here is the baby skein. It's just half size of this guy. And this is in the colorway Limette. It's like lime color, limeade. Obviously, you don't need like the whole full skein. You don't even need the full half skein of the contrasting color to knit up the contrasting color part of the sock. But it's fun to have a little bit of leftover of that crazy lime green color to jazz up any future projects you may have that could use that little bit of pizzazzing. Okay, so for the needle size to work up this project, you would need a smaller needle size because you're going to need to get 9 stitches to an inch, and the pattern calls for US size 1, or for the rest of the world it would be 2.25 millimeters. Doing this gig is really good for exercising my memory. Trying to commit everything to memory before I talk to you. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it for talking about these socks. Next up, we're going to talk about the vest that is to my left. It's called the Gillette Flow, designed by Louise Robert. There are 2 types of yarn that is used to make up this vest, and they're both in the Louise Robert collection. First one is the Super Sock, which we've talked about before. And then the other is called the Kit Silk. And these guys are made up of 75% kid mohair and 25% of silk. You are going to need one skein each for one skein for each color, and there are 4 colors involved for to make this vest. So 4 skeins of the mini kid silk and 4 skeins of the super sock, to be clear. Now gauge is not like awfully important in respect that this vest is one size, but because it takes 20 grams of each kid silk to make the vest, and each skein is 25 grams, you're going to be cutting it kind of close. So maybe it will be worth it for you to either buy 2 just in case you run out, or just triply make sure that your gauge is good. And in terms of the super sock, depending on which colorway it is, the most it will require is 90 grams, and each full skein is 100 grams. So similarly, if you're gonna be playing it on the safe side, you wanted to make sure that you're gonna have enough of that color to make up the vest, then just grab 2 of that color, just in case. Now I'm gonna pick up the camera and then show you the specifics, a close-up shot of the vest, and then we can talk about how it is constructed. This vest is knitted from the bottom up, and it's knitted sideways. So let me hold up here, hold it out so maybe you can see better. It is constructed from the bottom. You start with the eyelet, which, by the way, the yarn is held double. The super sock and the kid silk held double. After you're done, like, you knit across, so you're going to cast on a whole bunch of stitches, knit the first section, and then the second stripe section, the third lace section, the fourth the burgundy section, and the burgundy color is the colorway Anne Boleyn that we talked about in previous episode. Here's the 5th section, and then finally when you get to the 6th section, you will be binding off stitches for the armhole, and then you knit across the back, and then you will first knit all the way across to this side, and then you will knit your way back and then do your bind off for this side's armhole, and now you can focus on the back piece. You will continue to work on this part here, and then onto this part, and then onto this part. And now, before we commence working on this part, this section, we're going to find our friends who are on hold from before. So you will knit it back, pick up, rejoin the stitches here, and then continue on, and then do the same thing on the other side. And then now you're back to knitting the entire width of the vest. If I hold it like this, it's kind of hard to show you. I'm sorry about that. But if you can imagine, the piece is knitted widthwise, is very wide. So like your right panel, back, left panel, it's like all one. And then there's this huge armhole here for you to slip your arms into. That's why this piece is one size, because one size probably fits most. And here it is with the front view, but of course our website is going to give you a better picture, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to show you how this piece is constructed. And finally, we are on to our last pattern for today's episode. It is what I'm wearing, the Nebra Sky shawl, designed by Louise Robert. It was inspired by the Nebra Sky disc that was believed to be the first sky chart created some 4,000 years ago. In the making of this shawl, 2 different types of yarn is required. One is what we just saw in the making of the vest, the kit silk. There are 2 colorways to it, but I'm holding up one. This is the colorway, let me see, Air du Temps. And the other colorway is the darker color that you see here. I'll hold it up a little bit better later. And that is the color, let's see, Botticelli. So it will require 2 skeins of the Botticelli and 1 skein of the Air du Temps. And then the other yarn is from the Biscotte Yarns Cash Silk Lace. It's 50% cashmere and 50% lace. And this is in the colorway Poire, which we now know is French for pear. Makes a lot more sense than black pepper. And you will need one skein of this, the cash silk. Now, gauge is not terribly important to make this shawl because it's one size. But the gauge for making the shawl is 4.5 stitches per inch using US size 4 3.5 millimeter needles. The finished size is 17 inches deep or 43 centimeters, and this is what that is. Here, I'll hold it up like this. Okay, so that's, I'm gonna hide my face. So that is 17 inches deep or 43 centimeters. And then the width of it is 60 inches or 152 centimeters. My wingspan is not that wide and it's out of the camera shot anyway, but you get the picture. And let me put it back on. So you see how generous this is, the wings, right? So for today's episode, I basically have been wearing it with one end dangling and the other end just thrown over my shoulder. And it's really comfortable. I am one who doesn't usually wear mohair or alpaca or anything like that, Angora, because my skin is super sensitive and the smallest content of those fiber would itch the hay out of me. But I've been wearing it for the whole filming of this video and I did not scratch myself once, I don't think. It's not uncomfortable is what I'm saying. So for those who are on the same boat as me, who has sensitivity to prickly but soft and glorious yarn, you may consider trying this out. It gave me no problem. Anyway, back to the shawl. So how is it constructed? We start with the Botticelli color, this really beautiful color here. A small amount of stitches, and then you would work your way out. You see how like the top part before the stripe, you see how it's already a crescent shape, as this shawl is the crescent shaped shawl, to tie into the whole theme of the inspiration, the celestial sky. And then you would do the stripe here with 2 different colorways, and all that is depicted as the sky, the night sky. And then we move on to this section, the mosaic, using the cash silk, and that represents the stars, the bright stars. And then once that is done, we move back to the stripe, and then finally we have the lace work for the edging at the bottom. Again, we have both written instruction and the chart, the little grid chart, to help you make this shawl if you are interested. It's really, really beautiful. I really love the way Louise chose her color schemes. It's really, in person, I don't know how it picks up on the camera, but I tell you, in person, it's, how do I describe it? It's kind of muted, but yet the pear color really brightens the piece up. It's really, really beautiful. For someone who is afraid of loud colors, but who wants some interest in their wardrobe, because you know they're usually into the dark colors, solid colors, this is a good accent piece to have, because the pear color, it stands out, but it's not obnoxiously loud. It's really, really nice. So that's pretty much it for the pattern that we're going to talk about today. So this means it's the conclusion of episode 6, and thank you so much for staying with us to this point. Per usual, if you are going to create something that we're talking about in today's episode, and I know you will because you know it's all for a good cause, put up your whips and your finished objects on your Instagram and hashtag us Biscotte Yarns. And before you click away from this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up because you love it. And also subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell above so you'd be notified the next time we have new videos for you. And also give us a comment, what you like about it, where you're watching from, so I can give you a special shout out in the next episode. And also any ideas or suggestions that you want us to talk about in future episodes. We all welcome everything. Until next time, friends, happy crafting.